side of Elite 8. It's quite rare to see Samuel being picked up first for the side of Elite 8 because a lot of times we do see them prioritizing on that Batiste, like you said earlier on.
Mhm.
However, on the side of Infamous, in response to that, they are going to pick out the other healer on the fold, or rather the other meta healer on the fold, and that would be Lyra. In which, for at this point in time, Infamous, they can ban out a lot of heroes, and we are still playing on the 2.6, so they might just go for that Sky ban. However, it's quite unlikely because the jungler of the side of Elite 8 has been picked out. They are going to go for that Glaive ban just for, to remove the disruptions that Glaive can bring to the table.
Yeah, so I kind of like Elite Eight's first ban here because it's the Idris, and one of the I guess signature heroes that you can call for Infamous is Spaghetti's Idris. So that I think they just want to put that out of the table because they respect it a bit. Um, right now, maybe the Samuel pick for me is just that he's a pretty good duelist overall. Once you have that, again, the combo with his Drifting Dark, he's just able to kite around the team fight and then be able to sustain up. So maybe they're just trying to keep that option open for them immediately and then try to follow up with something that can go with that. I'm not sure which hero would be good, but anything that's up in your face, I think, would be nice.
Well, yeah, up in your face indeed. And the side of Infamous, they are going to settle for that Fox, which we know in 2.6 is still relatively strong as compared to the other laners because of the pre-nerf Poison Shift, Tension Bow, and even that of Breaking Point. So, like you said, and I must agree with you as well, it's that, the side of Elite 8, they will settle for that Baron and Batiste Team Com coming out. And like I said, they do favor and they really like the Batistas, for the side of Elite 8. For the side of Infamous, I don't think they should really just go for the dive. They can have another mage like that of, say, Scarf. Scarf does very well, but Spaghetti as well. He is known for his Celeste, so Celeste might be the pickup at this point in time. If not, then the Scarf. I mean, Mages does very well against that of Elite 8. We are going to see that Celeste being picked up for the side of Infamous. So based on comms alone, we do see both teams, they are on heroes that they are very, very comfortable with. What do you think, Arsurai? Just based on comms alone and the draft alone, who do you think you'll put your money on?
I really like always the lesson that our combo is.
Okay, so as before we jump into game itself, I will just quickly run out and just see them, just talk about the pros and cons coming out from both teams. So on the side of Infamous, they are on the red side at this point in time, or they are on the B side, and they have got a sustain for the early game, and on top of that, they've got a box with that Poison Shift as well. So Poison Shift is a much cheaper item as compared, item pickup as compared to Barrett's Sorrow Blade into Tension Bow. So in the early game, the side of Infamous would definitely have got it. And as Asura, you said it as well, that the side of Infamous really like and enjoy their early game pressure as well, since they are so, objective focused at the end of the day. But we did see Elite 8 coming online yesterday and bring out and showing the viewers and of course the casters as well that they can be equally as objective focused at the end of the day. And thus they do pick up that Samuel that can siege very early on, and as you said, with that Drifting Dark and the Empowered Melissus and Verdict, and also with that Baron in the late game, they are just very strong. And as for that Batiste, that Ordain can just keep Vault within a situated area for Baron to jump in, if not then Baron to jump in, if not then for Samuel to jump in as well. So like my question still stands after running through the pros and cons of both teams. Arsurai, which team do you think will be up on top, or which team would you put your money on?
Putting my money on, I don't know if you heard me a while ago, but I was talking about how I really like the comp of Infamous, just because again, it feels like it's gonna be kind of difficult for Elite 8 to reach a Celeste and a Lyra, just because there's so much range and safety from the bulwark and the passageway. But the thing is, I think there's a really nice combo here for Elite 8. You have that Ordain into, I guess, the Oblivion, which is I think a really good pick-off tool tool as well for Elite 8. But I'm going for Infamous.
if you're gonna go for Infamous, then I'll just put my money on Elite 8 as well. Just a little, cheeky banter between two casters. I mean, you have a valid points, but at the end of it all, we do see the Batiste on official Hind.
Yeah.
And anime saved me on that Samuel, so which means we will be seeing a Rome Samuel coming out yet again. The first Rome Samuel, if I'm not wrong, was pulled out by Infamous, and we were at a point in time, I think we did see Infamous having that comp of a Samuel with that Taka, and then we were trying to figure out whether or not Taka will be that Rome or Samuel will be that Rome. But in this case, we are going to see yet again Samuel roaming it, and I guess he has that poke, he has that pushing ability as a roamer, and he has got a sustain as well, unlike any other heroes in the foe. So I guess Anime Save Me really want, or rather the side of Elite 8 really do know how to.
Anime Save Me though. Ooh, he's gonna be a bit too over aggressive there, but Hun Jaegers will help him out. Although SNK, Imperial Sigil, Uni cannot follow up. That was very close from Anime Save Me.
That was very, very close indeed. Anime Save Me just taken down very low, very early. And I guess that is one thing that Samuel has that the other roamers or don't have. It's that very early game damage, and especially even as a roamer without just picking up crystal items, your malices and verdicts in your drifting dark would do a lot of damage. So I guess it's gonna help cruise Han Jaeger through his laning phase. But to fully understand the core, honestly, coming up from the side of Elite 8, I guess they've got, several CCs, hard CCs as well. Firstly will be Fearsome Shade coming out from Batiste, and of course, on top of that, the Oblivion that Samuel will get, and a team-wide sleep that he can inflict on when he reaches level 6. So I guess that is one CC that the other roamers do not have. I mean, to make you immobile or unable to use any abilities because you're asleep is a very, very big thing that is going for the side of Elite 8. We might see some fight happening in lane.
And here we go. Will Spaghetti connect a stun on that card collapse? I think that's gonna be enough. He just drops the Heliogenesis in front of the turret. So Elite 8 will live to fight for another day. And you can see here from the bottom side, it's going to be Spaghetti versus Official Hind, and Official Hind respecting this Celeste with the help of SNK. And immediately right off the bat, Infamous goes in with an aggressive rotation in the jungle to catch off Official Hind, but no first blood just yet.
Well, no first blood just yet, indeed. And we do see the Batiste, he is very strong. He's a very strong early game hero, especially when he's empowered. So as long as Elite 8 can match up with, and synergize really, really well with that Samuel when he gets his Drifting Dark, in which he just got it, and Batiste, they can just hold someone on the spot, especially with that Ordain and Malice and Verdict for a very long time as well. So it is just down to how Elite 8 will execute the team comp, although I would have preferred to see a Batiste roam. That way it'll make the entirety of Elite 8 seem more like a balanced comp overall. But I guess Captain Samuel has got its users as well, although very niche at the end of the day, because you are really just relying on that sleep of yours. Official Hind may be going into Spaghetti just for a quick duel in that early game, but they are just gonna back off.
All right, just a question, I guess. Who do you think is a better duelist overall in the early game? Is it gonna be the Batiste or the Samuel? Because maybe that's the reason why Elite 8 went for the Rome Samuel, because he's a bit more durable or easier to fight with early on. Because again, you do have that slot A and B skill set.
Well, personally, they are beginning their siege at this point in time.
Oh, okay. So Official Hind might be a bit too greedy there. SNK, one more shot, that's gonna be close. They're chasing him down. There's a Sonic Zoom from Uni. One more, but immediately E8 go for the punish, and Anime Save Me survives, or rather Official Hind survives, as his teammates go in for the punish. Wow.
And we do see Elite 8 yet again, putting out that early game pressure in that of lane and picking up the first turret just 4 minutes 30 in. Very good play coming out from the side of Elite 8, and as a lot of players would say, jabaited. coming out for Infamous because they really wanted the first blood. First blood is 300 gold for the viewers, or for anyone out there that do not know. So I guess it is quite precious, a sacred thing to not give away or even just take from your opponents in the early game. And because 300, that is just one first, it's just tier 1 item very early on. And on top of that as well, with that bait, Elite 8 managed to get 1 turret out of 2 kills. So it's looking very, very good for the side of Elite 8 at this point in time. Just 5 minutes in, and they are sitting at a very comfortable, close to 2k gold lead. And with regards to your question, you asked whether or not it's because they saw that or saw the team comp because might caught out.
But hold off, we're gonna get, like you said, the catch off onto Anime Save Me. He will survive, does have the Drifting Dark. He'll be able to at least sustain himself up, and look at Spaghetti getting punished. Yuni's right here, into the side. He will get taken out as well. And E8, they actually have a pretty good stable weight comp, and they win that fight with only losing Hun Jaegers.
Yep, only losing Han Jaegers. And one more thing as well, like with regards to your question, honestly, the only reason they put, I personally think that Samuel in that roam position is not because he's more robust, or the fact that Official Hein can duel better against a Celeste if he's on that Batiste, but it is just down to the power spikes and how much damage, and how well they can scale into that of late game. As we can see, Anime Save Me on that Samuel is able to put out so much early game pressure in that of late, and on top of that with that Batiste as well, it is definitely win-win coming out from the side, or rather for the side of Elite 8, in which we did see they managed to push 1 turret, and a lot of duels now and a lot of fights, team fights at this point in time, just going in their favor because the amount of damage coming out from their side. So at the end of it all, I guess it is quite clever to put this Samuel in that roam position and then just allowing Official Hein to just pick up that Batiste at the end of the day, because Batiste, when empowered, like I said, with just a few crystal items, you can put out a lot of damage, and Anime Save Me doesn't quite need, especially for a Samuel, in the early game, to have any much items to put out damage, especially if you're in your Drifting Dark constantly.
So now it's gonna be the Poke game, will be the name of the game here for Infamous, as looky here. Oh my goodness, Spaghetti getting the kills. Get it? Spaghetti getting all of the kills. And he's just gonna be bombarding the Heliogenesis onto Anime Save Me as his teammates break down the turrets. And one team fight actually turned the tide of battle just a smidgen into the hands of Infamous.
Yep, we do see as well, although Anime Save Me really, really good on that Samuel for that early game, but at the end, when it comes late game, or at least for now, we do see that, Anime Save Me do not quite have that utility going into team fights. The only thing he can really do is just use the Drifting Dark and hopefully be able to zone his enemies out, whereas Spaghetti, now sitting at level 9, has got that artillery potential coming out from that Heliogenesis, as E8 is looking for another fight. Oblivion is dropped.
And here we go, Elite 8 will be forcing the fight out, as it looks like Infamous will be trying to go once again for the range game. Look at the damage onto Anime Save Me. He has to back away. He's got to respect Spaghetti right now. Although they did have a good amount of time to put damage on the second turret, so Elite 8 will be exiting with I guess a pretty good advantage against Infamous.
Yep, and one more thing is as well, it's that, the side of Elite 8 do not have a lot of lockdowns, whereas for the side of Infamous, we have that core collapse from that of Celeste, and on top of that, a very short silence, no doubt a very short silence, but still silence nonetheless, coming out from Wait For It on Vox as well. So a lot of hard CCs coming out, but on the side of Elite 8, there is not much of a hard lockdown. There is the Oblivion, sure, there is a Fearsome Shade, but Fearsome Shade moves your enemies away from you, whereas the side of
I'm slapping that one for now, man, because it looks like we're gonna be seeing some blood splatter, as it looks like Elite 8 will be forcing once again another fight. They pay for it with the life of Hun Jaegers, followed up by Official Hein. Spaghetti puts out a huge Solar Storm, and he will be following up as well onto Anime Save Me, using that passage as a gap closer, and that's going to be an ace. as it looks like Infamous will be also transitioning into the second turret. So, yes, you were saying.
Yep, as I was saying, the side of Elite 8, as we can see now, and I was saying earlier on, they just do not have the hard lockdown like that of Infamous with the core collapse and even the silence coming out. Granted, they have got a fearsome shade coming out from Batiste, a very good CC fair itself because it makes you silence firstly and you cannot use the basic attack whatsoever. But, you know, even then, the problem with the fearsome shade is that it pushes your enemies away from you. Whereas, you know, on the side of Elite 8, they do not have much of a chase at the end of the day. So if you're going to push the enemies away from you, then you have to re-engage again. And, you know, Fearsome Shade in itself, it can be used defensively or aggressively depending on what position you are in. But looks like another fight might be breaking out when Elite 8 just coming in.
And here we go, 3v3. They just dip in and immediately dip out from the fight. Looks like Elite 8 are ready to go for it because they didn't know where the other members of Infamous were. It's gonna be the Scout Trap. Sees Enemy Save Me is right there near the gold mine. And Infamous are looking to actually go for a flank here or maybe get that objective themselves. Not yet really sure. And yeah, actually, your input on that, I was actually thinking like because Infamous have the Celeste, it kind of makes it bad if the Fearsome Shade pushes him out of the range of E8. That just means that you know the Celeste will be able to outrange them even more. Do you think that's like a thing here that kind of like makes it bad to use the Fearsome Shade against Infamous's comp?
Yeah, and on top of that as well, like I agree with you, but on top of that as well, it's that if you do push the team of Infamous away from you, then Baron has to jeopardize his very safe position behind that of Anime Save Me to just jump in, and I'll just hold that thought when a lot of damage is exchanged, but no one really wants to. Okay, I'll just, go ahead.
Here we go. Official Hein with the backstab plays. There's going to be a huge solar storm, but Hunjagers will survive. Can he actually? No, never mind. That's going to be a double kill as Official Hein went for the flank, but he just got ganked, and Anime Save Me will be the only one left standing here as Infamous are going to be going for the choke turret. Enemy Save Me, can he do it? I don't think he will. There's another passageway, and he actually rides it into the embracing hands of Spaghetti. And you know what happens? Spaghetti will get a kill. Here comes Official Hein and Hunjagers, but the battle is done for now.
It is done indeed, and you know they managed to take the anchor turret just 12 minutes in, playing that. Elite 8, they are playing the game of Infamous, being very objective focused, but at the end of the day, when the power spike of Samuel starts to lose out because you are on your roam, you no longer have that very early game spike that we were talking about earlier on, and that is what that makes the side of Elite 8 come so much stronger. It's because of Samuel and his ability to surge siege in the early game without much items and the ability to zone as well with those Malices and Verdicts. But once all the defenses start coming up on the side of Infamous, the side of Elite 8 will start, finding a lot of trouble trying to peel or even just wear down the side of Infamous, in which we see a lot. And, Infamous is just taking and making use and taking advantage at least of their opportunity and capitalizing on the flaws of the team comp coming out from the side of Elite 8. And this is what they're doing, and they're doing it very, very well. Just 12 minutes in, as we said, and as we saw, just anchor turret down from the side of Elite 8. And they did move into the gold mine, putting them just 5k above that of Elite 8. They are looking very strong at this point in time, the side of Elite 8. Had they went for a Batiste roam, maybe, just maybe, the tide would change for the side of Elite 8. But at the end of the day, Celeste just scales so much better as compared to that of Samuel. And I think it would just go down pretty much the same. But at this point in time, because you have the Batiste, you're not going to use the Fearsome Shade as a CEC. They are just going in again, just looking for another team fight. We saw the damage Oblivion drops.
Clash ensues, and will they force the fight? Yes, they will. There's going to be the jump jets. The damage, though, is pretty good. Nice connection onto the Oblivion. SNK was actually slept right there. The 1-for-1 trade in terms of the kills, but Uni is on a Vox. You gotta respect this, guys. There's so much damage coming in from both of these players. He's going in with the Sonic Zoom. They're chasing down. If you have your jump tips, you will survive. If no, Hunjagers goes down. And Infamous gets another ace. Can they actually finish this off? Official Hein will be responding in about 5 seconds, so it might just be the turrets get taken down, or this could be the game.
Well, I mean, it might just be one turret before they bugger off, and they do just move out or in does land on SNK.
Ooh, SNK drops down the bulwark. There's the Solar Storm. Will Uni actually go in for the bait into the brush? They're gonna play it safe. Put down a flare just to check, just to make sure that no shenanigans will be coming out from Infamous. But like you said, they only got one turret, so Elite Eight, they still have that one defense before their vein is exposed.
Yep, one defense indeed, but Kraken at this point in time is coming onto the foes, and the side of Infamous wasting no time, immediately trying to secure that Kraken for themselves. I'm sure the side of Elite 8 do know. Pardon me.
Yes.
Bless are used.
And here we go, another clash will ensue. Official Heinz super low, nice connection with that Fearsome Shade, pushes back Infamous. That Kraken is battering down behind them, so they gotta back away for the meantime. They don't want to make it into a awkward 4v3 situation. Hun Jaegers was doing a whole lot of damage, but not enough to get the kills. Still though, Elite 8 have a way against this. SNK will be spotting them out. Elite 8 looking to actually get the Kraken, as they knew that maybe some of the members here of Infamous might have been going for that port back into the base. Did Uni show himself in the lane? I think he does. Spotted out by the way, but here comes Elite 8. Sonic zooming out. They know they have so much vision. They have so much mindset on when Elite 8's rotation will be. And it seems that E8 are just going to go for a little bit of a breather here.
A little breather indeed. I mean, there is no chance for E8 to just come in, and if the side of Infamous really want to dedicate themselves into a team fight, which we might see at this point in time.
Oh, this is so sneaky. Do they have the vision? I don't know if they do. They're gonna putting down the Heliogenesis, and they spot Official Hind. No more ultimate for you. No more usage of that Fearsome Shade. And you know what? It's fearsome. It is Infamous going in. 3 versus 1. Official Hind, can he do it? The answer to that will be no. And it's another ace. And it looks like Infamous will be going for the GG push. There's the passage just for the gap close once again. And they're gonna backdoor the heck out of this base.
Backdoor the heck out of this base. Indeed. And it's quite interesting to see, because if I'm not wrong, and if memory do not fail me, the side of Infamous did pull out a similar comp with that Rome Samuel before, and they did very well. No doubt they had some stumbles along the way, but at the end of it, you know, at the end of the day, they did pull off that comp very well. Whereas from the side of Elite 8, they know, you know, where their strength lies, and what, you know, at which part of the game or which stage of the game they are very strong, and they did try to push their advantages in that early game, but the side of Infamous is just protecting their modesty, not allowing it to be outraged any further, protecting their further turrets very well. And once we saw Spaghetti getting onto the level 8, immediately turning the fight and turning the game around. So